Hello and welcome back to Crossout, guys. This time I try to explain the new patch because a lot of people are complaining about it and they don't seem to understand like the developer's idea behind it. I actually like the new patch, so I'll try to explain as best as I can. Starting with cabins, the cabin energies were changed. For example, a Crowl cabin now has 11 points of energy instead of 9. The Humpback was nerfed from 12 to 11. The Trucker cabin has 9 now instead of 11. Basically all the bigger cabins have less energy. Jawbreaker is also -1, and so is the Carabase. But basically all the cabins, they were changed. Like the medium cabins, I think they're same. I think these were 10 before, that was 8, that was 9 maybe. Doesn't matter, the idea in here is that the bigger cabins have less energy, but the smaller cabins have more energy. So you can have like a small build with more weapons or a big build with, you know, more armor. So that's the idea behind the cabin energy changes. Which brings me to the next thing. You can't have those drone ships anymore. See, the sidekicks, they take 4 energy like they took before. I mean, they were 3 and then they were 4 and well. But with Humpback, see, you can have only 3 drones max, because you have the Apollo generator, which gives 4 energy, and the Humpback cabin is 11, so 15 total, as you can see. So you can have 3 drones and a heavy cabin, which means you can, you know, put lots of armor around them like before, but you have less firepower. Exactly what developers designed it for. That you have, you know, more energy with a smaller cabin. So if we remove this and we put on the Quantum cabin, then we can have 4 drones. But the Quantum cabin, obviously the maximum, you know, mass limit, you can have 11 tons. And if you put like some perks and stuff, you can have little bit more, or with engines. But still, my point is that you can have a fast build with less armor and more drones or more firepower, but you can't have a big cabin and those, you know, big drone ships that cannot be destroyed anymore. And that also brings me to next thing. The frames no longer add structure. Just look, the structure is 260 points. Remove 1, it's still 260 points. So you can't have those autistic frame builds where people just, you know, build like some insane frame around their build, you know, like this. And then they have insane cabin, you know, cabin structure. And that's also one thing, that cabins now have less structure in general. Like, because you can't have, you know, the frames, they don't give structure, which means, you know, obviously have a little bit less, you know, structure. Which also brings me to cannons. Cannons now, let's put some cannons on. So you can still have a triple executioner on a Humpback with a Apollo generator. But with Quantum you still have +1 energy left, so you can put scope on it, or engine maybe. Perhaps you can put the engine on it. I will get to the engines. The engines were also fixed. I can actually show it in one go, so let's put the engine on. So see, the V8 engine, it's really good because it charges up, and if you shoot, just keep your eye on it. Whoops. Let's try this again, shall we? Just keep your eye on the reload of the cannons. If I shoot, see, the engine just popped the cannons by 20%, which means it helps you reload. But you have to move for that. Anyway, back to the cannons. Look at the damage it does to the armor. 1200. I'm gonna take the armor off and shoot straight into the cabin. See, the cabin is exposed now. See, that's 3 executioners right into the cabin. That doesn't even do 500 damage. See? But if we shoot into the armor, let's try somewhere in there. See, it does 1000 or even over 1000 depending on where you hit. So basically cannons do like little bit more than 2 times less damage to cabins. And as I said, the frames no longer give structure, which means, you know, you can't just take out the build like this in, you know, one hit. So that's why the cabin damage, I mean the cannons, do less to the cabins now, so it's, you know, balanced between them. I forgot to mention about the drones, that the drones range was also reduced, even though I have a radar on. If I deploy them in here, let's just deploy all of them. See, right now they're going to attack, right? But if I come back a little bit, see, they are not. They are turning around. So I have to move slightly. I'm going to show you the range in here. Let's go a little bit closer. See, now they're going to attack, so they can see it. Or maybe not. I have to go a little bit closer, I think. Come on. How far I have to go? They're gonna probably blow up, but... Okay, now they're going, see? But that was just a range test, so... You can see visually how far you are from the target or on the map. See, this is the kind of range you have to be from your target in order for the drones to attack. So the drones are only for defense. You can't just, you know, go and hide behind like the hill over there and then just release your drones and they're like going halfway across the map just because you have the, you know, the radar on it. So no more, you know, drone abusement, which is really good, I have to say. So let's move on to the engines, which is the most exciting part of the update, I think. So first of all the engines are -1 energy now. This one didn't take the energy, and obviously it doesn't give you the energy now because, you know, it doesn't give -1. But anyway, the hot red was taking 1 point of energy, and now it takes 0. Golden red, golden eagle, colossus, cheetah, all the other engines that took 2 points of energy are now 1 energy. So that's also, you know, kinda, you know, fixed with the cabin powers and stuff, so you can still put the engine on, you know. So like I said, it's very well thought through and very well balanced, I have to say. People just don't see it through at this moment. And also all the engines have perks now. Weapon and module reload speed increased by 10%, and this engine no longer blows up, so that's really good. Before it used to blow up like a fuel tank, but no more. Golden Eagle, read the description, module turret and drone reload speed increased by 20%. That's what it had before, but also it gives mass limit 2.5 tons, 40% power, which is really good for, you know, builds with a lot of wheels. That's really good. Colossus, 50% power and 2.5 tons. However, the perk is weapon and missile reload speed increased by 20%. It was still that was same before the patch. One thing I don't like about this engine is that they reduced the mass limit from 5 tons to 2.5. That I think they should still keep it on 5 tons. They should put it back. This is the only thing I have to complain about in here. I really like the 5 ton, you know, plus. But anyway, the cheetah engine, it's absolutely amazing, guys. It's really good for hover builds, for example. But look at the thing it gives. It gives you 3000 tonnage and also 1000 mass limit, max speed 20% and power 25%. This is the fastest engine now. The Lunatic's engine is no longer the best one. The cheetah is the fastest, I mean. And read what perk it gives. Every 100 meter pass by the car reduce remaining weapon and module cooldowns by 20%. That's what I showed you before with cannons. And if you're wondering, it doesn't work on the weapons that use cooldowns. It's kinda like it says weapon and module cooldowns, but it's how to say, it's badly, you know, put in here. Developers didn't like kinda, you know, get the wording right. It doesn't work on the weapons that have cooldown, such like shotguns, machine guns, reapers, autocannons. It doesn't work on those. It only works on the weapons that have reload, such as cannons. So don't, you know, confuse these things. And modules are anything you put on, such as like cloak, shields, boosters, and if there's anything else. So that's how cheetah hinges work. It really good. Razorback, meh, it's kinda like in between. Gives you 2000 mass limit. You know, it's a blue engine. It's basically nerfed Colossus, so it's still, you know, good. The hardcore, well, it's, you know, hardcore. It's just a blue small engine. It's basically a nerfed version of Hot Red now, so. And Dun Horse is basically a nerfed version of Cheetah. So, as I said, it's all, you know, falls in place. The Golden Eagle doesn't have a nerfed version, but that's okay, so. The Dun Horse, it also gives you tonnage, 2500, which is very good with hovers. And from this point, let's move on to hovers then. Let's explain the hovers. So the difference between two hovers has been changed now. This hover has now 200 structure and this one has 150. However, this hover has 15% reduced power. It doesn't say it anywhere, but it was in the patch notes and it does feel a little bit, you know, different. So there's a difference. It also looks like more armored, so makes sense. And also the hover mass was increased from 315 to 325. Other than that, it's still the same. Now, the very important change about the hovers is that if you put more hovers than 4, then your build is gonna be extremely slow. So let me demonstrate. As you can see, it's over the mass limit with 4 hovers, obviously. However, thanks to the engines now, if we put the cheetah engine on, it gives you 3000 tonnage. So let's do simple math. The cabin gives you 5000 tonnage, this gives you 3000, and each hover is 500, which is total of 10 tons of tonnage. Right. So that's why the engines now give tonnage, so you can use the cheetah or the ton horse engine with 4 hovers to still have, you know, heavy hover builds. However, I'm gonna show you what happens if you put more hovers. That's 4 hovers, that's very, you know, good to control. I mean, it's a bit heavy, so it's a little bit sluggish, but as you can see, it still, you know, flies. Yeah, it really flies. But you get the idea. So it's, you know, it's controllable. You know, it's very maneuverable. You can, like, do tricks and stuff, and it stops fairly, you know, fast and everything. However, and here's 6 hovers for you, the speed. Look how much it's reduced already. See how slow it moves? It's just crazy. Look how long it takes for them to stop. So 8 hovers, look at that. It doesn't even accelerate anymore, see? It's basically, it doesn't even move, see? It's really, really slow, you know. So I replaced the cheetah engine with Colossus because it gives you more power. So let's see if it helps with the hovers. Not really. Actually, it helps a little bit, to be honest. So yeah, you can put a little bit more hovers with Colossus engine, but it's still, you know, it's, as you can see, it's very sluggish, see? But that's the idea, that's how they nerf the hovers, so you can have the same kind of builds, but only with 4 hovers. Maybe 5, maybe 6 if you can make it work, but I wouldn't really recommend it, you're way too sluggish with them. And the final test is to test a heavy hover build with 4 hovers. And as you can see, regardless that it has 4 hovers, it's still really, really slow, because the weight really, you know, messes up the hovers too. See, if you want to build a heavy build, then you might as well have more hovers rather than just wheels for the tonnage, you know. But I wanted to test it and cover it anyway, so. And that was the idea, like I said, the developer's idea was that you can't have those massive hover builds anymore that you just can't shoot down. And also something that wasn't in the patch notes, if I remember right, is the retchers. And also impulses, the grenade launchers, they got buffed like crazy. Look how fast they take the armor off on this thing. Just check this out. See, just like one shot, and look how much damage it does. It's basically like cannon, look at that. And the further you are, the more damage they do. So if I go somewhere in here and shoot, see, it does almost same damage, even though not all of them hit. Yeah, look at that. Just few hits and the entire armor is gone on it. However, they don't instantly take off the frames, even the light frame, see? Look at that, see? Look how many hits a frame can take. See, they're still on. Now one of the pieces came off, see? And also tracks were actually made better. Also they have a perk now, increased resistance to firearm damage and excellent grip. So that's really good now. I don't remember how much tonnage and structure they had, but now they have 1750 tonnage and 600 structure. And also the speed and grip are improved, so if you're gonna drive around with this, look at the speed of this thing. I know I don't have any armor on, but still, like the max speed of this thing is increased, you know. And it also goes for the armor tracks, the big ones. These are really, really good now. They actually, you know, live up to their name. Tracks, you know, it's like you can actually build a tanky build with them. They also have the same thing, increased resistance to firearm damage and excellent grip. And the tonnage is now 3600. And structure is 1300. That's insane. You can also hide stuff behind here, like small ammo boxes or maybe a generator or something, so it doesn't, you know, get hit from the side. And look at the speed on these things. It's also a lot better than it used to be before. So it's really useful, you know. You can actually protect small builds with it. It's pretty good, see? A lot faster. And if we stop, see, the grip is really good on these things. And reverse speed, that was also increased, so you can actually reverse with it. I mean, it's not good, but it's a little bit better than it used to be before. And in general, a lot of the wheels got fixed, especially the APC wheels. They now have more tonnage, a lot more tonnage, I believe. I think they had less tonnage before. Definitely had less tonnage. I hope I have addressed everything. However, I want to show you some combinations that were made possible thanks to this patch in here. A lot of things that people haven't really noticed before. Thanks to Cheetah engine that it now reloads when you travel. And that's why Cheetah is good for fast builds. For example, we can do a build like this, which is a fast build with 3 fuse drones and AH shields. So if you deploy the drones, the fuse drones, it also has those Genesis modules, which gives me 8 drones total. And look at that, if I'm driving around, that V8 really helps you, recharge the drones. Yeah, look how fast they recharge now. You see? And I can already deploy them. And it's same for the shield. See, if you keep driving around like this, it just charges and charges. And look at the AGs, like pop, see, again. Or you can have a build like this, guys. Look at that. You pop the shield and you just keep shooting and driving. See, this thing also helps you reload the missiles. Like I said, all the weapons that have a reload, it helps you reload the V8. And obviously it helps you with the AG shield, so you can just keep driving around like this and there's just nothing they can do. Because you just keep, popping the shields. As soon as one goes down, you pop a new one. Well, I hope I addressed everything in this video about the new patch, at least most important things. So basically the entire idea behind this is that you have to make a choice between a fast and agile build with lots of firepower. However, it has almost no armor, so you can get hit and like disabled in just one hit. Or you can choose to have a really big and tanky build that can just take it, but it's slower and with less firepower. So that was the entire idea behind the developers, patch. And I think it came out really well. And especially the hovers, you can still build those big and good hover builds, but they are just, little bit too clunky if you put, too much weight on them. And you can only have 4 hovers, so you have to build like a cage around them, But they still work, so they are not absolutely useless. I mean, you can still make, builds work, so I hope this helps you understand this patch, and I will see you next time.